Good morning and warm welcome to all the participants. It's our pleasure to welcome Dr. Ashaq Hussain. Sir is Associate Professor Agronomy, MRCFC, SCOST Kashmir. And the topic chosen for deliberation today in this session is integrated farming systems for higher and sustainable income, technological options available under temperate conditions. Sir, you're audible as well as visible, and also your presentation is visible. We have around 67 participants who have joined as of yet. The session recording has started. You can start, sir.
So, good morning to all of the participants who have joined. Let me have a brief introduction of myself before starting. I am Dr. Ashaq Hussain, Associate Professor, Senior Scientist in the discipline of Agronomy at Mountain Research Center for Field Crops, Khudwani, which is a constituent unit of the SCOST Kashmir. And the topic, as told by Mr. Majid, is integrated farming systems for a higher and sustainable income, technological options available under temperate conditions. I hope I am audible to all of the participants. And so let us start
Yes,
our
sir, you're audible. You are
presentation.
audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So we shall deliberate upon the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and particularly the temperate region of Kashmir Valley. And before the starting the presentation, we should have a fair idea of the geographical position of Jammu and Kashmir UT and the different climatic types that exist over here. We know that Jammu and Kashmir is the northernmost territory of India, and it is located between the latitude of 32 and 36 north and longitude of 37 and 80 east, bounded by China on eastern and northern side and by Pakistan on the western side. And similarly, we have the states of Himachal Pradesh and Punjab on the southern side. So that makes the geographical position of the Jammu and Kashmir state. And we also are, at some point, we are also connected to the country of Afghanistan. Jammu and Kashmir has three distinct regions, that is Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh. Now, Ladakh is a separate union territory, but since our jurisdiction with respect to the agricultural research is also still continuing with the Ladakh. So, the Kashmir Valley is a temperate, cool temperate climate, and the climate of the Jammu province is essentially subtropical, and that of the Union Territory of Ladakh is a cold desert. So we have here the principal four regions of climatic types that exist in UT of Jammu and Kashmir. One is Jammu and Kashmir 1, that is subtropical region of Jammu. And Jammu province has also one more type of climate, that is intermediate zone. And intermediate zone extends from 800 to 1500 meters above sea level. And there are also certain high mountains which extend to the altitude of 4000 meters. When we move to the Kashmir Valley, we are essentially the 10 districts, Ananatnag, Kulgam, Pulwama, Shupian, Srinagar, and Baramulla, plus Bandipora and Kupwara. And this type of valley exists at an altitude ranging from 1560 meters to around 3000 meters, wherever the human populations inhabit. And essentially, the valley plain has altitude of 1560 meters to around 1700 meters. Then when we move to the region of Ladakh, it is a cold temperate desert. And this desert has an altitude of mainly average 3000 meters, and the temperatures range from -20, and even the temperatures may go to -40 during winter time. And so this is very cold, and the temperatures may rise to around 20 degrees Celsius during the summer, that is June and July. So climate of Kashmir, we will be dealing here in this slide. And the average altitude of the plain is 1587 meters. When we move from winter towards the summer, the temperatures during the month of December and January may go, average temperature day and night may be around -2 or -3. And during the night, the lowest minimum temperatures may even go sometimes to -10. But when we move towards the summer, the temperature during the June and July may touch 30 degrees Celsius, or even sometimes 32 or 34 degrees Celsius. And the day temperature during that time may be around 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. So essentially, we are a cold temperate region. And so as per that climatic condition, the different types of crops, may it be the fruit crops or the field crops, and the varieties that exist over here are actually governed by this type of climate that exists in the Kashmir Valley. So the rainfall may range, the average rainfall over the past 30 years around 700 millimeters. And the mainly the 30-40% of this rainfall we receive during the month of spring, that is March and April. So with regard to the population, we have a total population of around 1 crore and 25 lakh, which has risen to around a projected population, which has risen to around 1 crore and 36 lakh. That means 13.6 million as per the projected figures. Since the last census was conducted in the year 2011, and in the year 2021, the next census was to be conducted, which has not yet been started. So this is projected figure of population of 13.6 million. And essentially, we have the labor force is around 26% on approximately that supports various types of the activities that are undergoing in this type of region. So the important agricultural activities that we have in Valley are the raising of the food crops. Among the food crops, we have essentially the rice, we have maize, and we have wheat. In Jammu province and in Kashmir, we have mainly the rice, and in the hilly areas, we have the maize is grown by the farmers under the rain-fed conditions. Then dairy farming is also picking up. It was mainly subsistence type. Now people are moving to dairy farming on commercial lines. And in the hills, we also rear large number of sheep and goat. This sheep and goat farming is actually done by the Bakarwal the nomadic tribes. And then we have poultry farming is also coming up as an industry, and fishery is also picking up very nicely. Then we had sericulture also. Sericulture is an important activity, and we export this silk fiber to different parts of India and other countries also. Then when we integrate some of the components of the farming, and then that type of farming is called as integrated farming system. Then moving on to the area under different crops, when we see the table that we realize that the rice is grown both in Jammu and Kashmir province. Then we have maize. Maize is grown again both in Kashmir and in Jammu, but most of the part of the maize is in the Jammu province. Then we have wheat. Wheat is an important crop of Jammu province, grown during the month of winter, and then very small minor part is occupied in Kashmir also. So the total area under different crops is around 10 lakh hectares. 10 lakh, that means are more than 1 million hectares, and net sown area is around 7 lakh hectares. So the largest area is occupied by the wheat crop, followed by maize crop, and then followed by the rice crop. So we have also a substantial part around 3 lakh and 72,000 hectares, which is under 3 lakh and 29 hectares, 29,000 hectares under irrigated conditions. So most of the part is the rain-fed area. Then since the Kashmir Valley is also called the fruit bowl of India, because we grow a large quantity of apple on around 1,46,000 hectares, followed by pear, then apricot, and then to some extent peach, and then we have also some cherry we are growing. But in Jammu province, being subtropical, the apple is not to that much extent, but in Jammu province, some pear, some quality of pear, then mainly the citrus and mango is grown there. So essentially, we are a food deficit state because of the land area and the climatic conditions that are prevailing over here. During the entire year, we require around 36 lakh tons, and out of that, around mostly 35 to 40% is being imported from other states of the country. Then why we are a food deficit state? The reason behind that is that we have a small area under cultivation, as indicated in the earlier slides, and then the climatic conditions are like that because we are a temperate region. A temperate region means the growing season is very short. It ranges from May to September. Then we have a long winter around 6 months, and only the rabi crop can be grown during that period. But rabi crop also say wheat or some vegetables they also go to the hibernation and resume the growth only in the month of March. So for 3 months or 4 months, there is no growth because of the sub-zero temperatures. Then cropping intensity in the Jammu region is almost fair. It is 176%, but in Kashmir it is only 123%. That means only very small area we grow the second crop, that is double cropping. Otherwise, we have only a single crop that is grown during the month of Kharif season. Then we have small land holding and fragmented land holdings, and in hilly regions the terrains are very difficult and mechanization is also becoming very difficult. Soils are generally, the rain-fed soils are generally poor in soil fertility and organic carbon, and the conversion to agricultural land to horticulture, because we know the profitability of rice is not to that extent as with the money that we get from the horticultural crops, particularly apple. So on a large scale, the farmers are converting the rice land to the horticultural land. Then viability of the profession, agricultural profession, is becoming problematic because of the lack of capital, money, and lack of infrastructural facilities. Then we have also low income from the field crops. So that is the reason why we are a food deficit state, because of low area under crops, then low cropping intensity, climatic constraints, and then infrastructural constraints, poor soil fertility, and then generally the low income from the field crops. Then the cropping systems that mainly exist in the Kashmir Valley, we grow fruits. As indicated earlier, the apple is the main crop. Then rice and maize are also very important crops. Then we also grow vegetables, and we export during the summer season to other parts of the country. Then saffron is a very traditional crop and a geographical indication of our region. Then zira and wheat and barley are also other minor crops. Now poultry is picking up as an industry. Similarly, we have fisheries and apiculture, that is honey production, and sericulture also as very important occupations of the farmers. Then Ladakh region is mainly known for naked barley, wheat, vegetable, pashmina goat, and apricot. Then moving to the physiographic factors, we have three essential subdivisions of Kashmir. Geographically, then lower belt extends to the altitude of 1700 meters. Then Karewa region, these are lacustrine soils, just foothills, which range in altitude from 1700 meters to 2000 meters. Then higher belts, which are Kandi areas, very cold areas, they range in altitude from 2000 meters to 2500 meters. Then what are the different crops that are grown in this plain region? Plain belt is rice, and then sarsung, that means Brassica campestris, or rapa, that is brown sarsung. And then in some areas also people grow oats and barsim as a fodder crop. So 1.3 lakh hectares is occupied by the rice alone. Then rice, brown sarsung, rice, oats, and rice barsim are the main cropping systems of Kashmir Valley. Then when we move to the Kandi areas means the rain-fed areas. That means the mid-belt, Karewa belt. Then there we have the maize and pulse as important crop. And both these crops are generally grown as the rain-fed crops. And then apple is also grown in these Karewas on a large scale. Then other important crops are almonds, cherry, and plum. So these are the different cropping systems that we have discussed here. Then fruits and vegetables. Then among the vegetables, we grow kale, we grow nol khol, cauliflower, cabbage during the summer season, and we export during that season to other parts of the country. But generally during the winter, we are net importers of different vegetables, because the ground remains covered with the snow. Only some kale greens we grow during the winter season, that is indigenous production. And we also cultivate this nadru, which is called as a lotus stem. And this season we have exported a good quantity of vegetable to Dubai, which was they are reported in the different newspapers and newses. So now we are some important vegetables we are exporting to other countries also. So as a vegetable hub, the Kashmir is growing. Particularly the favorable season extends from the month of April to the month of June. Then government level, these types of crops, high value crops, are also being encouraged to improve the income of the farmers. Then what are the different types of the vegetables that we grow in Jammu province or intermediate region, and then Kashmir Valley? In Jammu province, we have three growing seasons of vegetables. One is from January to May, and then from June to November, and December to January. During and January to May, we grow tomato, onion, cucumber, gourds, and potatoes. Then during June to November, the Jammu province, we grow brinjal, okra, sweet corn, etc. And during cold season, that December to January, they grow potato, radish, nolkhol, potato, and cauliflower, and other leafy vegetables. Sometimes we import the greens from the Jammu or the Kashmir Valley also. Then in intermediate zone, which is similar to the Kashmir Valley, they grow tomato and potato and capsicum during the January to May season, and then the vegetables like turnip and beans during leafy and other leafy vegetables during the month of August to October, and October to May. In that intermediate region, which constitutes the Doda district, some parts of Udhampur, Rajouri, and they grow this garlic, peas, and potato during October to May. But when we are discussing here mainly the Kashmir Valley, we grow nolkhol during the early part of March and April, then kale during the entire year, then cauliflower, 2 cauliflower crops can be grown. Then cabbage is also as an important crop. Then we grow radish during the winter season, radish and turnip. Garlic and onion occupy a large part of the time, that is from November up to June, and they mature in the month of June. Then French beans, we grow 2 to 3 crops of French beans during the entire season. So these are the important vegetables. Livestock is also an important enterprise in Jammu and Kashmir state. In the Kashmir Valley alone, around 15 lakh cattle exist, which may be presently much higher than that. Then sheep also 16 lakh. Then buffaloes, goats, and are the other minor animals that are reared in Kashmir Valley. But when we know that how they are important in integrated farming systems, is that they not only generate income in terms of meat production and milk production, but they also yield a large amount of organic manure. For example, bulls yield 42 kilograms of manure per day, beef, cows 36 kilograms, then steers 26 kilograms, heifers 24 kilograms per day, then cows 20 kilograms. Then apart from milk and meat, this is a very important, valuable output from the animals, that is the organic manure that is used for the crop production. Then goat is also an important animal for the Jammu and Kashmir state, mostly reared by the Bakrwal tribes. And these are nomadic tribes that move during the summer season from Jammu province to the Kashmir province and migrate to the pasture lands in the hilly areas of Kashmir. And then during the month of September, they move back from Kashmir Valley to the Jammu province. We have presently 17 lakh goat population existing in Jammu and Kashmir UT. And then why goat is very important? It is often called as the poor man's cow. At the farmers level, the goats are also reared for not only for meat but also for the milk production, because this animal is very disease resistant and adaptable. It has great adaptation to the cold conditions. It consumes very ordinary plant material, that's weeds, and converts them into meat and milk. Then it can be managed on very low inputs. It can be crossbred easily and has excellent survivability. And its milk is fed to the children and to old people and has medicinal properties. And this is a high quality meat, and it's also called as lean meat. And it improves the biodiversity in the ecosystems. And the droppings of the goat are very fertile, have high nutritional value for the soil and improves the soil properties. Now, when we move to the apple occupies 1.4 lakh hectares in Kashmir province, and the biodiversity in the apple orchards can be improved through the agricultural diversification by introducing various types of grasses, which may be legumes also. For example, in some of the experiments conducted over here, the tall fescue and orchard grass has been introduced as an intercrop in the apple orchards, and then harvesting the tall fescue and red clover grasses from these apple orchards can be used as a fodder for our animals. So this type of we can improve the soil condition of the orchards and also provide sufficient fodder for the consumption by the animals. So tall fescue plus red clover, or tall fescue or orchard grass plus white clover are the two important options that yield higher fodder for our animals, green fodder, and also improves the soil properties in the orchards. Here in this photograph, it is clearly seen that the data shows that 12 tons of dry fodder and 32 tons of fresh fodder, green fodder, can be obtained when tall fescue plus red clover are introduced as an intercrop in the orchard systems. So this is a very important opportunity whereby we can intensify our crop production, we can diversify our agricultural income by introducing these types of fodders in between the species that exist in the orchards. Even in high density orchards, it has a higher scope because the distance between the two rows of the apple is more in the high density apple plantations that are very popular, becoming very popular in Kashmir Valley. So the other important industry is the fisheries. Fisheries is emerging as an in integrated farming systems in different areas in plains as well as in the hilly regions. For example, till date we have 1,110 carp rearing units, 718 trout rearing units in the private sector. Similarly, we have 19 carp rearing farms and 51 trout farms, and 16 trout hatcheries, 5 carp hatcheries, and 2 aquaria at the government level. So about 17,396 professional fishermen also are connected with the fish catching in the different parts of the state. And so this is emerging because this is a very important component of the integrated farming systems. Particularly the trout fishing is fish farming is becoming popular across the Kashmir Valley, because this type of farming exists in the foothills because it requires cold water, and it is selling at a price of 500 to 600 rupees per kg. So farmers are earning very good income from trout farming. Then poultry, another important industry. Around 350 lakh birds are being annually consumed in Kashmir Valley, out of which 1,25,000 are being produced locally, and 15 lakh are being imported from other parts of the country, that's other states, and 65% mainly we import from other parts of the country. And this industry is touching 400 crores annually, and its growth is 28% annual growth rate. Around 10,000 people are using it as a source of income and livelihood security. So in the previous years, the scientists have tried here to test the viability of hortipoultry system. What is hortipoultry system? It is rearing of poultry birds in orchards. For example, the Van Raja has a good adaptation in this and adaptability in Kashmir Valley, and is used as a dual purpose bird, not only for meat production but also for the egg production. 1.62 lakh hectares total fruit crop area we have, and we have 58,000 hectares under dry fruits also, and 300 birds can be introduced in one canal. One Raja birds can be introduced in one canal of area to intensify our to increase our income and diversify our agricultural production, not only for nutritional diversification but also generating additional income for the farmers. So what is the benefit of these birds? This is, it helps in optimum utilization of the resources. This also decreases the pest infestation because the birds consume the insects and also eat some of the weeds. And then this can be also an important option for organic fertilization, because the poultry manure that these birds produce, whether they directly sheds during the daytime, we allow the birds for poultry is very, very important for enhancing the nutrition security of the people, because the bird meat and the egg being a very important source of the animal protein. So Ajit sir, is it going on? Okay. Okay, thank you. So even the young educated youth have gone to the extent of importing the Van Raja birds. Van Raja bird is a very valuable bird, where the plumage and the color of the meat is black, and it also gives eggs, and it is a high value bird. There was a news that this type of bird has been reared as a poultry in some Nishat area near Srinagar, and the highly educated youth have started diversifying their income from such type of activities also, because this is originally this bird is from the Madhya Pradesh, but the people are trying to rear this kind of high value bird even in Kashmir Valley conditions also. So this news was reported last year. Then another very, very important activity is sericulture. Apart from Karnataka, Jammu and Kashmir duty is also very important with respect to the silk rearing and silk production, because we have very good conditions, climatic conditions for the mulberry production here, and we are rearing the bivoltine type of silkworm. This type of occupies around provides employment 30,000 families across the state, and 5,000 persons are also employed in public sector. Then we have also 10,000 weavers employed in the production of the silk fabric. Then 2,000 units exist in our entire valley. Then 2.15 lakh are directly or indirectly engaged with this sericulture industry. Then how it is related to the integration, how we can develop integrated farming systems in mulberry orchards. For example, in one of the projects, we have tried the cultivation of the vegetables in the intercropping of between mulberry trees. For example, onion and rajmash. Rajmash is cultivated during the summer season, and onion is a winter crop. Then garlic and rajmash has also been tried. Then we have turnip and rajmash, turnip during the winter season and during autumn season, and rajmash during the summer season. Then peas as a rabi crop and sag as a summer crop or even as a winter crop also. Then these type of crops have been tried in different seasons in between the crops and the mulberry crop, mulberry trees. Then additional income of 58,000 from onion and rajmash, 49,000 from garlic and rajmash. Then turnip and rajmash we got 74,000. Then 71,000 from peas, being a high value vegetable. Then we have additional incomes from sag and rajmash, 58,000. So Dr. Mushtaq Mir from Sericulture faculty has done this project of crop intensification, agricultural intensification in mulberry orchards. So additional income can be generated by growing vegetables in between the rows of these mulberry orchards. Additionally, we can have an agroforestry system from mulberry trees by growing the mulberry trees on the bunds of the field crops, for example, rice. Then these mulberry trees, they provide a wind shield, diversify the cropping system, reduce the pest intensity, and moderate the temperature of the around the crops by modifying the microclimate in that region. So this provides modifying the agroclimatic, and is very important with respect to the changing climatic conditions and increasing temperatures. Number one. Number two, the mulberry trees also provide very good fruits, mulberry fruit, and this has the high medicinal properties and nutritional properties. So mulberry trees can be also introduced as an agroforestry enterprise by increasing the income and modifying the climate of a particular region. So now overall, what are the benefits of recycling the farm wastes by diversification and depicting the resource flows in this diagram? When we integrate an animal component with our crop production, then what happens? We generate a lot of wastes from the animals. Then that animal waste is further processed to produce manure. Some of it may be lost due to these decomposition processes. Then when we add this type of residue and processed residue or animal waste, say farmyard manure, chicken manure, or vermicompost, then it improves the fertility of the soil, then increases the crop production, and overall help us in the improving the resource use efficiency. Then animals themselves are a source of meat, or a source of protein, or a source of milk, and a source of additional income for the farmers, and also providing the nutrition for the family itself. So what are the different opportunities for diversifying the cropping systems? We have to grow the remunerative crops, provide additional employment opportunities, and then excess labor can be diverted to the off-farm activities, then boost the exports, then improve the natural resource base, that is improve the quality of the soil, quality of water, and then improve the income of the farmers, and generating gainful employment, profitable employment for the youth, and stabilizing the flow of the income over the seasons and over years. Then essentially we discussed that we have 1.4 lakh or 1.3 lakh hectares so under rice. Then how to intensify and generate additional income from the rice? We get only 1.5 rupees from 1 rupee invested in rice. So the rice is not that much profitable, and because it requires a lot of labor. Then how to improve the income from rice? Lately we have revived the mushku bhujji and red rice in different parts of the Kashmir Valley. For example, in Kokarnag Sagam area, the mushkabudji production was revived, and we know that mushkabudji is a land race. It has high aroma and also good nutritional value, and is very good soft rice. It tastes very, very good and is preferred by the consumers. This sells at a price of around 150 to 200 rupees per kg, and is essentially used by the people during the marriage ceremonies and other festivities. Then red rice is a red pericorp. It is a red rice. It is a high nutritional value, and some types of the red rice also have good aroma. So this type of rice, high value rice, has been revived in Kokarnag area and in other parts of Badgam, and red rice has been revived in Tangar area of Kashmir. And this will diversify our rice farming systems and generate additional income for the farmers. And the university has received 2 Genome National Saver Awards that was given to the farming community of Kokarnag, and then in 2019 it was given to the Tangar farming community for the conservation of red rice. So 2 national awards the university has earned so far. Then the other opportunity before us is the introduction of the basmati type of rice. Various types of basmati rices have been introduced from Indian Agricultural Research Institute, PUSA, and then it was PUSA Sugandh 2, 3, then PUSA Rice Hybrid 10, PUSA 1509 that were tested under Kashmir Valley conditions. Then from that material, from PUSA Sugandh 3, another material was derived as SCOW 494, which will be released as PUSA Sugandh for the Kashmir Valley cultivation. And now we will be having our own basmati that was derived from PUSA Sugandh 3. And from this basmati, the higher income as compared to the normal rice will be generated for the farmers. Then this type of rice has to be sown a little bit earlier, 10 days, 12 days earlier. 20th of May, we should sow this for generating higher income, and it responds to the nitrogen up to the level of 1900 kg per hectare. Then another opportunity that exists in Kashmir Valley is the introduction of the brown sarson is already there. Then oats and barasim can be increased in area. Then cultivation of soybean during the summer season as an intercrop on the ridges in the rice ecosystems to generate additional protein. And then rice wheat cropping system is always desire for the scientists and farmers, but the late maturity of wheat results in the delay in the transplanting of the rice, and yet only a small area exists as rice wheat rotation. But once we breed a variety of rice, that the variety of wheat that can mature by the end of May or first week of June, then we will be able to introduce rice wheat rotation on a larger scale under Kashmir Valley conditions. And from this rotation, we can have additional grain yield of 4.5 tons. And if we divert only 15% of area to rice wheat rotation in under those conditions, we will be able to generate 60,000 additional tonnage of grain for Kashmir Valley and reduce the dependence on the imports from other states of the country. Then we have also some specialty crops. For example, rajma is highly preferred from Bhadrava areas. And similarly, we have from cold regions such as Kurez and Matsil. We have high quality potato. We have Haripura potato from Shupian area also. Then red rice from Tandar, ginger and turmeric from some parts of Jammu, Poni, Riyasi and other parts. Then from Himalayan zone, we have certain medicinal plants. From Kashmir, we have the saffron, then zira, then basmati rice from Jammu. Then we have mushkabudji and sweet corn and popcorn as a very important crops that are coming up in Kashmir Valley. And then dry beans has always been a very preferred pulse from Kashmir as well as from the Jammu area. Then in the latest, of late, we have also popularized sweet corn on a larger scale. Government of Jammu and Kashmir Department of Agriculture has done a tremendous effort supported by the research from the university in introducing some of the hybrids of very high quality with respect to the popularization of sweet corn. From this crop, we can generate around 4 lakh rupees of net profit from per hectare, and this crop it comes up very well under Kashmir Valley conditions. Apart from that, it gives also very good green border. It takes around 100 in October. even from August itself we can. Then connecting the processing of this sweet corn, because it's a very shallow crop, we have to blanch it for 5 to 10 minutes at 100 degrees Celsius, and then certainly cooling it in cold water. We have to remove the grains and then store them under refrigerated conditions at minus 10 degrees Celsius. So the frozen sweet corn integration of production and processing of the sweet corn as an enterprise can improve the employment generation and improve the income of the farmers during the summer season. Then this is the whole process of blanching and preserving the sweet corn as a frozen sweet corn under Kashmir Valley conditions. Then it is agronomy. We have to sow it in the month of April or May. When we sow in May, April, May, and June, then we can have a prolonged supply of this crop for the month of September up to October. Then the spacing has to be 7,500 meters, 100 centimeters between the rows and 20 centimeters between the plants. We can have 50,000 to 66,000 plants per hectare. Then the crop produces very high biomass, say 15 tons of the cob and another 15 or 17 tons of the stover, and then so 30 tons of fresh biomass it produces. So it requires 150 kilograms of nitrogen, 75 kilograms of P2O, and 40 kilograms of K2O, plus 20 kilograms of zinc sulfate, and further 5 to 10 tons of farmyard manure has also been supplied. If fertilizer is also given to this crop, then it will be of additional benefit. So another important enterprise that can be integrated with by diversifying the base cropping systems is the popcorn. Popcorn is a snack for the children particularly, and it pops at 170 degrees Celsius and gives a butterfly type of appearance. Certain important hybrids that have been released at national level, and we have our own variety Shalimar Popcorn 1 released in 2016. Then this crop is also generating additional income and higher income when we compare with the ordinary maize. Then here also we have to fertilize it properly, and the popcorn, packet popcorn sells at a rupee of 250 to 300 rupees per kilogram, and a fertilizer dose of 140 kilograms of NP2O5 and K2O has to be given, and it takes 25 to 40 days. The nitrogen has to be given at 25 and 45 days after emergence as splits. Then 50 grams of zinc sulfate has also to be supplied. Then moisture in the crop at the time of harvesting has to be around 18-20 degrees Celsius. Then we have to dry it further to the moisture content of 12%, and then certain cooking oils are mixed with it during the popping process. Then prospects of baby corn is also excellent, because this being a tourism state, the production of the baby corn can be supplied to the hoteliers for catering the needs of the tourism industry. This is also a high value crop, and the cob has to be harvested 1 to 3 days after the silking, and certain sandwiches, soups, pizzas, vegetables, and salads can be obtained from this type of baby corn, and then the fodder can be supplied to the animal industry for as a fodder. And then vegetable has high fiber content and is very good for health. And then again, certain hybrids that are recommended are G515414 and HM4, then PS79 and VL78. Then yield is 12 to 15 tons per hectare. 150 kilograms of nitrogen has to be supplied, and then 1,11,101 plants per square, that is 50 into 20 centimeters spacing, is recommended for this type of crop. Being a high density crop, we require higher amount of fertilizer, 150 kilograms of plus 10 tons of FIM has to be supplied as a basal dose to have higher productivity of this type of crop, being very intensive and exhaustive. Then we also require to preserve this crop, we require import training in certain processing techniques, for example, canning, dehydration, freezing, preservation, and so as to keep the supply for a prolonged period of time, and also to preserve the crop. Otherwise, being a perishable crop, it will be perishable in a very short span of time. So once, in case of high value crops, once we connect the processing enterprise with the production enterprise, then and only then we will be able to improve the income of the farmers. Then having a cold climate, temperate type of climate, we have an organic advantage. We can, in different types of crops, we can produce organically because we have low consumption of the fertilizers, we have less pest and disease incidents. We grow certain types of high value crops, say basmati, saffron, zira, dry beans, and we also grow certain types of fruits, for example, apricots and sea buckthorn, which are relatively very tolerant to diseases and pests. We can also produce organically in case of meat from the sheep, because again, we rear on the natural pastures, and this type of farming is naturally very close to the organic farming. But in this case, government has to take up the issues and do whatever can be done to certify our meat production from these pastures, that is carried out, the activities that are carried out by the Bakrawal tribes, and then the value of our meat will further increase and generate additional income for the farmers, because we have a suitable type of climate that exists in Kashmir Valley, and the rearing methods and standards are very close to that of the organic, that are demanded by the organic certification agencies. Then the area under the organic farming is continuously increasing, and it is 25,000 into 2015-16, it was 25,000 hectares that has been certified organically, and the support from the government agencies is also increasing for the production of organic products, particularly the high value crops from the Jammu and Kashmir state. Then moving on to the integrated farming systems. Why we need integrated farming systems? Integrated farming systems are interdependent, interrelated, or offer interlocking production systems based on few crops, animals, and related subsidiary enterprises in such a way that maximizes the utilization of the nutrients of each system and minimizes the negative impacts of the enterprise on the environment. Once we integrate the cropping system enterprise with an animal production system, then we will be able to recycle the resources, then protect the environment, and improve the income of the farmers and improve the resource use efficiency. So the animal component is very pivotal and central to all the integrated farming activities. So while having survey in different districts of the Kashmir Valley, we have come across various successful people who have done integrated farming systems using different components of the farming that exist in Kashmir Valley and are possible here. The highest benefit, highest profit is possible only from the commercial fruit nursery. We know that we produce high value seedlings of apple, pear, cherry, apricot, plum, and even now the people also introduce this kiwi fruit. So these types of seedlings range in price from 300 rupees to 600 rupees per seedling. From such a type of activity, if a farmer is doing, he can earn 25 to 30 lakh rupees per year per hectare. Then another enterprise is apple orchard, high density apple orchard, where a farmer can earn 12 to 15 lakh rupees per hectare per year. Then vegetable nursery and protected vegetable cultivation in polyhouses that help the farmers to produce seedlings of high quality for supply to the farmers early in the season. Then the real integration is possible by integrating an animal with a vegetable crop or a field crop, and also doing some vermicompost production that can generate an income of 12 lakh rupees per hectare. For example, in the row 4th, we see a farmer has integrated vegetable production with apple. Then he has also constructed a fish pond with intercropping by strawberry and establishment of a vermicomposting unit. We know that animals generate a lot of cow dung. Then that cow dung has to be processed through pre-composting, and then it is the worms are reared on it. Even the African worms have been introduced. They produce a very good quality vermicompost, and vermicompost we know sells at a rate of 10 to 15, even 20 rupees per kg. And the farmers earn not only from the milk, but also from the vermicompost production. And he can also use his own vermicompost for the production of fruits in apple orchards or vegetables or field crops. Then horticulture industry, for example, we have the possibility of growing up very good high quality apple, grapes, pear, plum. Then if a farmer has a rice land, then he can grow rice and oats. Oats can give good supply of fodder, not only in the growing season of, and that is in the month of May, but he can also dry this fodder for the supply during the lean period. And then making a pond, he can rear the grass carp or silver carp, and the pond itself acts as a stomach where you can dump the residues, the crop residues or the FIM directly to raise the phytoplanktons, and then these types of carps are reared on the phytoplankton growth that occurs in the pond, and then additional income can be can be had from these types of rearings. That is the fishery. And the bottom, from the bottom of the fish pond during the month of winter, he can harvest the pond silt, which is very rich in nutrients. So this way we can recycle our resources. So a large number of examples are there where the farmers have reared the Vanraja. Vanraja is a type of poultry bird, and then having vegetable cultivation, then having certain fish pond also. These types of activities can be integrated in a profitable way. Vermicompost can be integrated with dairy farming. Mushroom cultivation can be integrated with rice cultivation. Then apple and grapes and vegetables and honeybee. Honeybee, we know that it helps not only in honey production, but is very important for the pollination of the apple orchards and other crops. Then horticulture system we discussed in the earlier slides, and vegetables, and 10 cows. In Bandipora area, we have reported that 10 lakh rupees can be had from 1 hectare area. So these are the different types of enterprises that are possible to be grown under Kashmir Valley conditions. Now we have proposed an integrated farming system model for our KVKs and our certain research station in the university. For example, if a farmer has a 1 hectare area, he can have a cow shed of 0.05 hectares, have rear 4 cows, and integrated a vermicomposting unit. Then 0.35 hectares can be diverted to the apple orchard, perennial grass, legume product, tall fescue or orchard grass. Then under irrigated conditions, sufficient amount of fodder can be had from the production of these grasses between the apple trees in a for not only for the production of vegetables for his own family use, but also production of vegetables, surplus vegetables for the market. Then 0.40 hectares can be diverted to rice oat system to have sufficient amount of rice production and oat for the animals. And then a fish pond of 0.05 hectare area also can be constructed to have a fish production, surplus fish production for the market, and to have sufficient protein for the family himself. So these are the pictorial representation of the proposed IFS model, where one part 0.25 hectare apple orchard, and between the apple apple tree rows we can go a fodder, that is a grass plus legume. Then we can also have an apple, we can also have apple production, and these apple can be supplied to the market for gainful employment and gainful income. So 0.05 hectare cow shed plus vermicomposting unit for additional income. Then in the middle we see the different types of winter vegetables: onion, garlic, spinach. Then during the summer, potato, nolcol, cauliflower. Then sweet corn, cabbage, tomato, brinjal, autumn radish, and turnip can be grown for the additional income. And polyhouse can be used for producing vegetables during the winter season. And also during the winter season, we can also grow early seedling vegetables to produce brinjal, chili, or tomato. And then when a crop is produced early in the season, it fetches very high market price. Then in the bottom row, we have rice and oat system on 0.4 hectare area. Then a pond has also built in the rice field, where 20 to 30 poultry birds can be reared. The poultry droppings that are produced by the birds drop directly into the pond to enrich the fertility of the pond and have additional food for the fish. So rice oats on 0.4 hectare area in this type of is important component of this type of integrated farming system. We know that we grow very good rices. Rice has a productivity of the new varieties, high yielding varieties, have a productivity of around 8 tons per hectare. Plus oats gives a yield of 300 to 400 quintals per hectare. And this type of farming system can be a very sustainable option before the farmers, not only for the food security, but also generating fodder for the gainful employment and supplying nutritious fodder to the cow unit of 3 to 4 cows. Then 0.35 hectare can be diverted to high density apple fodder production system. We know the high density produces around 30 to 40 tons of apple per hectare. So this high quality apple, Granny Smith, Red Velux, then certain Red Chief or Super Chief, these are a very early bearing type of apple that are grafted on the dwarfing rootstocks, for example, M9, M111, and many other rootstocks that are suited for this intensive production in high-density apple orchards. Then we have certain types of grass species: orchard grass, Dactylus glomerata, red clover, Trifolium pratense, tall fescue, and then we have white clover also that goes very well, especially during the month of April and May. Then we have from this F5M can be further processed to produce vermicompost for sale in the market. And surplus organic manure from or this vermicompost can be recycled back to the apple orchard or to the rice oats cropping system. Then vegetables are high value crops that can be supplied to the market in the nearby cities. Then sag, that is greens, is a brassica species. Norcol is highly preferred in Kashmir Valley throughout the year. Then cauliflower and cabbage can also be produced in the vegetable unit, and this type of vegetable can be supplied to the family use, as well as the surplus can be supplied to the market for generating additional income and profitability, nutritional security, as well as the employment security for the farmers. Then dairy unit can produce a good amount of milk and good amount of FIM for further processing to the further processing into the vermicompost. 30 liters can be had from these cows of milk and for sale in the market. Then fish unit can generate additional income by producing 1.25 to 1.5 quintals of fish for sale in the market. Then raising chickens, 25 to 30 chickens can suffice the family needs, and surplus can be sold in the market. One Raja has proved to be very successful in Kashmir Valley conditions. So the estimated income from such a type of activity has been an exercise has been done to estimate the cost of production. And then we have estimated from all these types of activity, we have estimated a profit of around 4 lakh rupees per year per hectare from a farmer who can divert his farming system to the integrated farming type of activities. This integrated farming system shall prove successful not only from the profitability point of view, but also from the environmental point of view, and also for generating additional sustainable and employment for the youth, and protecting our environment from adverse effects. So in summary, in Kashmir Valley, we have good opportunity of diversifying our rice systems to high value rices, for example, mushkabuji, red rice, and basmati, to fetch premium and higher prices. Rice oat, rice barsim, and rice wheat system can be popularized on a larger scale to generate additional seed and grain for the use and reduce dependence on the imports. Then sweet corn, popcorn, and baby corn are high value crops, high value maize types that can be popularized among the farmers on a larger scale to generate the additional income and diversify our nutrition. Then combining production and processing of high value crops for preserving these vegetables and grains for value addition and generating additional income. Then integrated farming systems is always a profitable venture for improving the profitability and resource use efficiency. Thank you all for a patient hearing. And now the session is open for any discussion or questions from our dear participants, or if any of the organizers is also attending this class. So you are very welcome to put any question with regard to the presentation. Thank you very much.
Participants can directly ask the question in chat, or in directly open their microphones and ask questions. So there are few questions in chat. You can go to chat, and at the bottom right there is a people icon. Right, more right, extreme right.
Yeah.
Right, this left. Can you go to right?
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Then the next to that is the chat icon. You can see the chat.
Thanks. Ravi Krishnan says, thanks. When poultry is integrated with the fish, will the droppings of the poultry falling in the fish pond affect the pH of the water and affect the fish? We know that it is only, say we have 400 or 300 square meter area of the fish pond. We are only keeping 20 to 25 birds. Then when these fish droppings fall, this is definitely organic manure. It has reduced pH. it will move towards the acidity. But since the quantity of the water is very, very large, thousands of liters of water are present, then finally this type of organic manure is actually used by the different types of phytoplanktons, algae, then grazers. Then these types of microorganisms are generally enrich the water, and those are consumed by the fish itself. Since the quantity of the birds, number of birds is small, the adverse effect on the fish, the pH in the pond will not be that much. So this is also this is already a tested integration of the poultry fish with the pond. It is not that much poultry farm. It is a small group of 20 birds that is advisable under those kinds of conditions. Okay. Yes, Majid Saab.
Any other questions? There is a question. There are commercial farming poultry other than breeder poultry rearing. Yeah. Can you scroll down or up?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are just go slow.
Yes. Good morning. Then apart from maize and barsim, which fodder crops are planted in Jammu and Kashmir? Yes. Apart from maize, actually during the summer season we have maize as a fodder, and then dry maize, that store is also used for during the winter. Then during the summer we have the fodder oats as a very, very important crop, not only in Kashmir but also in the Jammu. So these are the three important fodder crops. Then from orchards also we harvest different types of the orchard grasses and legumes, as I told, that is the red clover, the white clover, and different types of grasses, say orchard grass, Declaris glomerata, then festuca, and Nella. Then these are the different types of pasture grasses, as well as the field crops that are used as a fodder. Then we also use fodder this rice straw during the winter month in Kashmir Valley. So that is another question. Then Mukesh talk. There are commercial farming, poultry farming, any other breed of poultry rearing is there sufficient for production and preservation. Then for farm animal type of rearing of different animals in Jammu and Kashmir. Breed. Yes, the boilers and the layers are used as poultry birds. Then we have one raja on a smaller scale, one raja, and there are certain types of birds that are dual purpose, both for meat as well as egg production. And then this is a very difficult to answer question, because these are many questions mixed in one question. Production, preservation of farm animal. I don't understand. Type of rearing of different animals in J&K and Ladakh. We have animals both for on a smaller scale in each farm family we have animals, but there are dairy farming is also coming up in certain areas to generate the gainful employment for you. And then another question: is there any commercial farming poultry, any other breed of poultry rearing? Is the same question has been repeated here. Then we have, when poultry is integrated with the fish, will the droppings poultry fall in the fish pond? I think that has been already answered. Then we have another question here: what is the availability of fodder maize seeds for southern part of India? Maize African tall has been popularized as a maize variety for the fodder production, and it is supply is available here in Kashmir Valley. The seed is coming from other parts of the country. So I think this was the last question. Any more question?
Yeah. Any more questions? They can directly ask in chat, or
now we have still 2 minutes.
Yeah. They can directly ask in opening their microphones.
Yes. Welcome. Most welcome.
Anyone who has questions can ask directly.
Yes. I think no one has opened the camera so far. Huh?
No, they have opened the camera. They have had cameras open, but overall, yeah, there are people who have cameras open. If people want to interact, they can turn on their microphones.
Yes. We have 2 minutes left only, or we can extend it 5 minutes. Is it possible?
Yeah. If there is a good question and it takes you some
minutes. Welcome. Most welcome, sir. Most welcome.
No, overall, there are no further questions, sir. I think this is it for the session. Mostly thank yous, and few questions you already answered. On behalf of the organizing committee and on behalf of the participants, sir, we express our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for being with us and enlightening us with the valuable knowledge. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot for being.
Thank you very much to the organizers and to the participants, to all the participants from the core of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Let's join back at 2:30 for the next session. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. All the best. All the best.